Good day, everyone. Today we will be discussing about situational problems involving conic sections. So we're done discussing about the key elements and features of different types of conic sections, and we are also done discussing about recognizing types of conic sections and degenerate cases. So today we will be solving problems involving conic sections. So therefore, we need to apply what we have learned on our previous topic in order for us to understand this topic. So let's start with the first problem. For the first problem, a farmer wants to dig a circular reservoir for water storage. He decided to have it 10 feet wide in diameter. Is there a need for a mango tree that is located at coordinate -4, 2 from the center of the reservoir to be removed? So the first thing that we will be doing in order for us to solve a specific problem is to have an illustration. So we're going to have an illustration first. So for the illustration, so we're going to have, if the diameter D is 10 feet, then radius R is 5 feet because radius is just only half of the diameter. So dividing 10 by 2, we have R which is equal to 5 feet. Now, if we graph it accurately, the answer is obvious. However, that won't be the case if you only have a rough sketch. The following steps illustrate how it can be solved. So here is the illustration of the given problem. So we have the center at the origin, 0, 0 here. And we're going to count 5 units to the right and left, upward and downward, so that we can draw a circle. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So also have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Also have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we're going to connect all the points so that we can have a circular figure. Now, we have a circle with center at 0, 0 and radius which is equal to 5. Now, the question is, how are we going to know if the given mango tree or the mango tree will be removed or not? So let piece of 1, 0, 0 be the center of the reservoir, and piece of 2 for -2 be the position of mango tree from the center of the reservoir. Now, using distance formula, we're going to determine the distance from the center up to that point of the mango tree, so that we're going to know if the mango tree will be removed or not. So using distance formula, we have the formula p sub 1 p sub 2 is equal to the square root of x sub 2 minus x sub 1 squared plus the quantity y sub 2 minus y sub 1 squared. And then, by substitution property, we have where x sub 1 equals 0 and y sub 1 equals 0 for p sub 1, while x sub 2 equals -4 and y sub 2 is equal to 2. Now, by substitution property, we have square root of -4 minus 0 quantity squared plus quantity 2 minus 0 squared. Now, simplifying -4 minus 0, it will be -4, and simplifying 2 minus 0, that will be 2. Now, simplifying -4 squared and 2 squared, it will be 16 plus 4. Now, 16 plus 4 is 20, and square root of 20 is approximately equal to 4.472 feet. Now, we can now conclude that if we will analyze the location of the mango tree is inside the radius of the reservoir, since 4.472 is less than 5 feet. Thus, there is a need for the mango tree to be removed. Okay, so that is the final answer. If we will analyze the location of the mango tree is inside the radius of the reservoir. Why? Because the distance from the center up to the point of the mango tree is 4.472, which is less than 5 feet. Why we compare it with 5 feet? Because 5 feet is the radius. Okay? Now, since thus, there is a need for the mango tree to be removed. Okay, let us now have the next example, which is all about a parabola. So, decorative light bulbs are to be installed in a park. A cable is used to connect them to two posts that are 6 meters high and 10 meters apart. The cable is suspended between the posts and approximates the shape of a parabola. The cable's maximum sag is at the middle at 1 meter below the horizontal. So the first thing that you're going to do, you're going to answer the following problem. First, find the coordinates of the vertex of the parabola. Second, find the equation of the parabola. And third is how high is the cable directly above the ground at a point 2 meters from the left post. So you need to answer the questions A to C. But before that, we're going to start with analyzing the problem and illustrating the given problem. So let's start with this one. For the solution, we need to illustrate the problem. So we have the two posts. So we have this one. This is the first post. This one. And this is the second post. So ibig sabihin, this is the decorative light bulb. And this one. So it is parabolic in shape. So if we're going to check the vertex, so we're going to divide this into two. So we're going to find the middle of the two posts. So the middle of the two posts is located here at 5. And then, since there is 1 meter sag, maximum, this one, so you need to know what is or where is the vertex located. Since may 1 meter na sag, magma-minus ka ng 1 meter doon sa height na 6. The height 6 minus 1 is equal to 5. So therefore, this is 5 doon sa y and then 5 sa x. So therefore, the vertex is located at 5, 5. So to give you a clear explanation about this one, if the sag of the cable is 1 meter and the height of the post is 6 meter, the difference will be 5 meters. This is the height of the lowest point on the cable and this point corresponds to the vertex of the parabola. Thus, the coordinates of the vertex are at 5, 5. Or the coordinate of the vertex is located at 5, 5. Okay. So we're done with answering letter A. We're now going to proceed with letter B. The question for letter B is the equation of the parabola. So using the equation of a parabola which opens upward, why which opens upward? Because based on the illustration, the parabola opens upward. And the vertex is at edge K. Therefore, using the formula for vertex at edge K opening upward, it will be x minus h quantity squared equals 4c quantity y minus k. Again, it can be P, it can be A. So here, it depends sa book. Kung may mga book na P ang nilalagay, may book na C, may book na A ang nilalagay. So we're going to stick with 4C, quantity y minus k, where the vertex is located at 5, 5, where h is equal to 5 and k is equal to 5. Now, it will be x minus 5 squared equals 4c quantity y minus 5. We substitute the value of h and k, which is 5 and 5. Now, next, use any point xy on the parabola to solve for the value of c. Refer to the figure and observe that the points is at 0, 6 and 10, 6 are on the parabola. We can try point 0, 6. Where did we get 0, 6 and 10, 6? If we're going to take a look on the figure, so on the figure, it is this one. And this one. So we have here. So this is the vertex at 5, 5. So we know that this is 0 and this is 10. So we're going to take a look or hahanap tayo ng point na kung saan nag-lie on the parabola. This is the parabola. So we already know that this point and this point, pwede nating malaman kung anong point yan, saan siya located. Located siya saan? At 0, 6 at ito located at 10, 6. That's the reason why pwede nating gamitin ang 0, 6, pwede rin nating gamitin ang 10, 6. Ulitin ko, in order for us to find the value of C or the value of P, what are we going to do? Kailangan alam natin yung vertex. We're done with finding the vertex. Now, we're going to substitute any point on the parabola. So, any point on the parabola, makikita lang naman natin na exact na any point on the parabola is itong dalawang point na to, which is 0, 6, and 10, 6. Pwede natin gamitin yung 0, 6. So, instead of writing x, we're going to write 0. Instead of writing y, we're going to write 6. So, by substitution property, it will be 0 minus 5 quantity squared equals 4c quantity 6 minus 5. 0 minus 5 is equal to negative 5, and if we're going to get the square root of negative 5, it will be 25. 6 minus 5 is 1, so therefore it will be 25 is equal to 4c times 1. 4c times 1 is 4c. So in order for us to find the value of c, divide both sides by 4. So therefore, c is equal to 25 over 4. So we're done finding the value of c, which is 25 over 4. So therefore, we're going to substitute the value of c on our formula x minus 5 squared equals 4c quantity y minus 5. It will be like this one. So, it will be x minus 5 squared equals 25 quantity y minus 5. Why it becomes 25 times y minus 5? Because if we're going to substitute 6.25 here, it will be x minus 5 squared equals 4 times 6.25 times y minus 5. 4 times 6.25 is equal to 25. That's the reason why we arrive with this final equation of the parabola. So we substitute the value of c and we simplify 4 times 6.25, and that's equal to 25. Okay, now, we're done with letter B. We're now going to proceed with the third question. On the third question, we're asked with finding the height of the cable at the point 2 meters from the left pole. So let's consider the diagram below. So here is the diagram below. So ito yung diagram, makikita natin na ang hinahanap natin yung height ng cable at the point 2 meters from the left pole. So ito yung left pole, ang 2 meters from the left pole is this one. So therefore, the value of x is equal to 2, and we don't know the value of y because we're dealing with identifying the height of the cable. So therefore, we're going to find the value of y. So now, using the formula that we arrive on letter B, we have x minus 5 squared equals 25 quantity y minus 5. By substitution property, we're going to substitute x is equal to 2 in order for us to find the value of y. So now, instead of writing x, we're going to write 2. So it will be 2 minus 5 squared equals 25 quantity y minus 5. 2 minus 5 is equal to negative 3. If we're going to get the square root of negative 3, it will be equal to 9. And then by distributive property, 25 times y is equal to 25y. And 25 times negative 5 is equal to negative 125. That's the reason why we arrive with 9 equals 25y minus 125. Now, using the addition property of equality, we're going to add 125 on both sides. So it will be 9 plus 125 is equal to 25y. Now, 9 plus 125 is equal to 134. So therefore, it will be 134 over 25. Why? Because it will be 134 equals 25y. To find the value of y, divide both sides by 25. So that it will be 134 over 25. Approximately 134 over 25 is equal to 5.36. So what will be your conclusion? Therefore, the height of the cable at a distance of 2 meters from the left post is about 5.36 meters. So that's it for the second problem. Now, let's now proceed with the third problem. We named the third problem as Keep Quiet, Please. Did you know that you could actually hear even the whisper of a person standing a few meters away from you? Don't worry, it is not eavesdropping. But then, how is this possible? Have you heard about whispering galleries? A whispering gallery is a room with a ceiling shaped like a semi-ellipsoid. Why it's semi-ellipsoid? Because the term ellipsoid because it is a three-dimensional, similar to the figure here. But before that, let me introduce first a problem. Sam and Sophia visit a whispering gallery with a semi-ellipsoid ceiling. The gallery has a length of 36 meters and its ceiling is 8 meters high at the center. Now, where should they stand so they could hear each one's whisper? So that's the question. Where should they stand so they could hear each one's whisper? So this is the illustration. This is the whispering galleries. If we're going to take a look on the whispering galleries, ito yung position dapat ni Sam and Sophia so that they could hear yung pagbulong nila sa isa't isa. So if we're going to take a look on the figure or on the illustration, Sam and Sophia should be located or should be here at the foci. Okay, so now, suppose you and your best friend visit a whispering gallery to try if it works. Where in the gallery should each of you stand? So you already know that you need to stand at the foci or at the focus of the ellipse. What would happen to the sound as your friend whispers? So kapag na bumulong yung kaibigan mo at nakalocate kayo or nandoon kayo sa mismong position ng focus or ng foci, ibig sabihin nun, maririnig nyo yung pagbulong ng bawat isa. Would this design be appropriate in a conference room? Why or why not? So, it's up to you. Kayo na makakasagot niyan. Kung kailangan ba itong design na to be appropriate in a conference room? Why or why not? So now, let's now answer the problem. Let's start with the stage 1, understanding the problem. In understanding the problem, here are the things that you need to answer. What information are we given to start with? Which of them are relevant and what are we asked to find? Now, we may take note of given and unknown conditions in the problem. First, the gallery ceiling is in the shape of semi-ellipse. Next, the length of the ceiling is 36 meters and the height of the ceiling at the center is 8 meters. So here is the, here are the given information in order for us to answer the given problem. So the length of the ceiling is 36 meters and the height of the ceiling at the center is 8 meters and it is a semi-ellipse in figure. So what is asked? Where should Sam and Sophia stand so they could hear each one's whisper? So like what I told you, based on the figure, kailangan Sam and Sophia should stand on the foci of the given ellipse. So now, our goal is to find the coordinates of the ellipse. Coordinates of the foci of the given ellipse. Of the ellipse. We now organize this information in a diagram so that we can visualize the situation. So here's the illustration. We have the floor, we have the ceiling, and so we have 36 meters and 8 meters high. Now, only the ceiling is semi-elliptical and not the whole room. So that's the reminder. Only the ceiling is semi-elliptical and not the whole room. Now, stage 2, let's now devise a plan. What areas of maths are involved? Can we add more information to add the diagram? So here are the questions that you're going to ask yourself so that you can devise a plan. We know that the problem involves an ellipse and may have to do with its properties. The problem wants us to determine where Sam and Sophia should position themselves so they could hear the sound, and this must be at the focus of the ellipse. Now, so what we do is to draw the ellipse on a rectangular coordinate system and have its center at the origin 0, 0. Doing this will help locate the position of the focus relative to the center and other points of the ellipse. So here is the illustration. So center is at the origin 0, 0. So we now have the V sub 1 and V sub 2, which is located at negative 18, 0 and 18, 0. And the co-vertex, which is equal to 0, 8. Note that in drawing this graph, we only consider the semi-elliptical part of the room, which is the ceiling. Observe that ellipse is longer along the horizontal, so the major axis is 36 units long, while the minor axis is 16 units long, only half of which is shown. Only half of which is shown because this is semi-ellipse. So from the graph, we get A is equal to 18 and B equals 8. Again, how did we get A equals 18 and B equals 8? Because A can be identified using the distance from the center to the vertex or any vertex. So the distance from the center to any vertex, so it's equal to 18. So this is the illustration. This is the center. This is the first vertex. If we're going to check the distance from center to the vertex, that's 18 units. So next is we need to find the B. In order for us to find the value of B, that's the distance from the center to any points of the covertex. So, ito po yung center, ito yung covertex, isang covertex. So, therefore, ang distance niyan is equal to 8. So, that's the reason why B is equal to 8. So, now, your goal is to find the value of C in order for you to know kung saan kailangan pumwesto si Sam at Sophia. Thus, to locate the focus, we have to determine the value of C. To find C, we can use the equation A squared equals B squared plus C squared. Now, let's implement the plan. We're done with devising a plan. We're now going to implement the plan. Now we know that we can use the formula A squared equals B squared plus C squared to find the value of C given A equals 18 and B equals 8. By substitution, we have 18 squared equals A squared plus C squared. Now, simplifying 18 squared, that's 324, and simplifying 8 squared, that's 64. So, using the addition property of subtraction property of equality, it will be 324 minus 64 is equal to C squared. So, it will be 260 equals C squared. Getting the square root of both sides, we can get C is equal to positive negative square root of 260, which is approximately positive negative 16.12. So, therefore, thus, it can be said that the focus lies about 16.12 meters from the center of the ellipse. Therefore, Sam and Sophia should stand at each focus, which approximately 16.12 meters from the center of the gallery to hear each other's whispers. So, if we're going to identify the coordinates, it will be using the Cartesian plane, it will be negative 16.12, 0. Wait. Negative 16.12, 0, and 16.12, 0. Okay, let's now proceed with the fourth problem. For the fourth problem, as Nightmare approached a woman, opened the lampshade in her room, and immediately noticed that the lamp cast vertical hyperbolic shadows on the wall. As she had nothing else to do, she decided to do some math. She found out that the center of the hyperbola was 3 units away from the vertices, and the foci were 2 units away from the vertices. If the center is situated at the origin, find the general form, the equation of these hyperbolic shadows, along with the lengths of its transverse and conjugate axes. So let's start with the given. The given is center at 0, 0, vertices at 0, 3, and 0, negative 3, and foci is 0, 5, and 0, negative 5. Why? Because based on the problem, foci can be located 2 units away from the vertices. So, therefore, kung 3 units away from the center ang vertices, so therefore, mag-a-add tayo ng 2. That's the reason why the foci is located at 0, 5 and 0, negative 5. Now, what is being asked? If the center is situated at the origin, find the general form of the equation of these hyperbolic shadows along with the lengths of its transverse and conjugate axes. So now let's have the solution. So we have the value of A which is equal to 3 and the value of C which is 5. Again, paano nakuha ang value ng A at C? Ang A, di ba po, ang distance from the center to the vertex. At kapag naman po C, that's the distance from the center up to the foci. So that's the reason why we have 5 squared minus 3 squared is equal to 25 minus 9, which is equal to 16. Squaring both sides, therefore B is equal to 4. Now, we already have the value of A, which is 3, and the value of B, which is equal to 4. Using the formula for a hyperbola with the center at the origin, and the orientation is vertical, therefore we have y squared over 3 squared minus x squared over 4 squared equals 1. Why is it 3 squared? Because, again, I'm going to repeat, it's 3 squared because the value of A is 3. Why it's 4 squared? Because the value of B is 4. By substitution property, it will be 3 squared and 4 squared. 3 squared is equal to 9 and 4 squared is equal to 16. So therefore, the standard form of the equation of a hyperbola is y squared over 9 minus x squared over 16 equals 1. Now, how are we going to get the general form of the equation of a hyperbola? We need to multiply both sides by its LCD. And that's multiplied by 9 times 16. 9 times 16 divided by 9, tanggal si 9, it will be 16. 16 times y squared, it will be 16y squared. Next, 9 times 16 divided by 16, tanggal si 16. So, ang matitira ay 9. 9 times x squared is 9x squared. Next, 9 times 16 times 1, that's equal to 144. Now, what are we going to do? We're going to use the subtraction property of equality. So, therefore, the general form of the equation of the hyperbolic shadow is 16y squared minus 9x squared minus 144 equals 0, with 6 units as length of transverse axis and 8 units as length of the conjugate axis. So how did we get the length of the transverse axis? So since the value of A is equal to 3, therefore 2 times 3 is equal to 6. So therefore, the length of transverse axis is 6 units. And how did we get the length of the conjugate axis? That's equal, since B is equal to 4, 2 times 4 is equal to 8. That's the reason why the length of the conjugate axis is equal to 80 units. So that's all. Thank you and happy math learning. I hope you've learned a lot for today's discussion. Don't forget to subscribe on our channel and hit the notification bell button so that you will be updated with our video tutorial. Thank you very much.